Sauced. I'm Dan with Ryan, and we have the privilege of having one of the horse soldiers, Mark, with us. Thank you for joining us today. We've got your selection of bourbons here, which they're all delicious. We love them. We've been drinking them for a while. So before we get into it, why don't you give us a little brief synopsis of which ones we got here?
All right. So thanks for inviting me on to your show. First off, it's great to be here for the 5th Special Forces Group reunion up here at Fort Campbell. But we've got 3 award-winning bourbons that Horse Soldier Bourbon puts out. All of them are double gold award winners from the 2022 San Francisco International Spirits Competition this last year. So we are very proud of the bourbons that we got here and that we're going to taste through here today. Diving right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's start off with your initial straight bourbon here.
We're going to, go ahead. We're going to, first one we're going to taste here is our premium straight. It is a high rye bourbon, 3 years old with this. And we are very proud of this bourbon. This is wait, somebody might need some.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to try your own stuff, that's fine.
I do. But yeah,
he's over there giving the videographer.
Taking care of the staff here.
The camera guy,
the door guard, bouncer.
So go ahead and get a little bit of that. This is our premium straight. This is a high rye bourbon, right? So it's more than 51% corn. Be that bourbon. About a fourth of the recipe in this mash bill is the rye.
Okay.
A little bit of barley. So we're very proud of this bourbon. We are making it in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, interesting.
We're in a co-op out there with about a dozen other small craft brands when we started making our bourbon back in 2015.
How did you guys land on the Columbus facility?
The bourbon industry has been very welcoming to us as a group of veterans ourselves that with one of the guys' wives that started our company in 2015. And we'd been on the other side of the bar, right? Around the world, saw how bourbon brings people together, in our many deployments, whether that was in the former Soviet Republic that I experienced or in the Middle East or later into the Horn of Africa. Bourbon brought people together, right?
Yeah.
The Americans are in town and our coalition partners, as I'm sure some of you may have experienced.
Yep.
Bam. Bottle of bourbon. Let's talk.
Opens doors, man.
Let's shut the door and let's talk about the real problems that we have in our unit that we're working with that coalition partner, or the complex challenges they have in their country that is an ally that we're trying to work with. But just saw how that brings people together.
Yeah, for sure.
Be part of that. Bourbon, obviously, distinctly American product, and started the company American Freedom Distillery, 2015. Started learning about it. We had some great adventures, traveling around different distillery tours, other things that we did, Ireland, Scotland, Cuba, Mexico, taking lessons from all of that. But one of the very first mentors, you will, that we reached out to was some other veteran-owned brands as we were starting.
Okay.
Hotel Tango Whiskey was one of those.
Okay.
Travis Barnes, a good friend, a Marine veteran, had served in Iraq himself and worked with some of the 5th Special Forces Group teams there around and Ramadi and those hot spots. But
those are the fun spots.
It was an easy reconnect with Travis and learn, open kimono, got in, visited their spot. Indianapolis is where they're at. But then he introduced us to the facility.
Okay.
Columbus, Ohio.
Nice.
And
and it's been working out really well for you there.
Out. Yeah, we've been in there making up our own product. This is our recipe. And, in there bottling, licking up the labels. Literally, when we started, and we joked about if you find a crooked label, it's probably one of our kids was in there helping us putting it on. So we were hand labeling.
Oh, okay.
As we were doing all this.
Nice.
So as we got going, but we've outgrown that facility going forward. Horse Soldier Bourbon is distributed in 30 states today.
That's incredible. That's an amazing
since
growth.
We started, we are quietly the fastest growing craft bourbon brand.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
We very proudly grew it to 20 states ourselves, working with various distributors. We swapped horses through that several times.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And this last year, we had a new amazing partner come on with Gallo, Gallo Wine.
Wow, that's a big one.
Turned out they were looking for a bourbon. We are their only one. So we have all that brand
some
muscle
exclusivity
power
there.
us. Yeah,
Nice.
They grew us another 10 states this year, and we're over 100,000 cases.
Wow.
Sold.
So
it's taken off.
How long did it take you come up with the recipe for these?
Lots of R&D.
Yeah.
Several professional development blind taste tests to figure out what your profile is and what you like.
Right. Yeah.
So this one,
you can tell it's definitely got that rye in there.
Got a little rye, that little peppery, little spice.
It's good though. It's really good.
It quickly fades away, right? This is 87 proof.
Okay.
And we're very proud of this bourbon. It was our first one. And again, I'm talking about the premium straight here.
Right.
It was our first. We got lucky, right? Or skill, or both, right?
I'd say probably a little mixture of both.
A little mixture of both, right?
Every once in a while.
In 2019, we did our first competition that we entered in San Francisco, and that was the prestigious one, and blew the door wide open.
That's awesome.
This bourbon took double gold in our right out of the gate.
So
our very first competition.
That's pretty impressive.
That's where you started, right?
Yep.
And then you guys changed the recipe after this, or you already had the recipe figured out for the other bottles?
No, it was we figured out the recipe, what we wanted for the other products.
Okay.
Yeah. So we didn't change this one.
Okay.
This one then again in 2022 won double gold. This is our most awarded bourbon that we have in our
Hell yeah. That's a good one. It's tasty.
Yeah. It goes great neat on the rocks or in cocktails.
Yeah, I was gonna say old fashions.
Yeah, I love old fashions and
you do Manhattans as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like mixer every once in a while, but I prefer to do it neat, just because you get the full taste of it without it being diluted by anything else.
And I appreciate that. However fans like to drink it.
Right. Yeah. Drink how you want to drink, but that's how we drink. So.
Yeah. This one, as I said, I like it in cocktails predominantly. On the rocks.
Okay.
Just kind of what are you in the mood for?
Yeah. So with this label that you guys came up with, it's pretty historic, right? They know this logo, and there's a statue in New York City.
Yes, the America's Response Monument.
Right.
So the military history behind the brand is I had the honor of leading one of the 5th Special Forces group teams known as ODA 595. I was a captain at the time, and just had an amazing team of guys. Some of them still work here around 5th group. You may run into them as they've retired.
Yeah.
But our team was one of the first sent in after the 9/11 attacks and infiltrated by special operations helicopter known as MH-47, and got in on the ground, and then we rode horseback for the first 24 days of that historic unconventional warfare mission. And a sculptor made a small 18-inch bronze statue of that. And then 10 years later, that became a life-size plus monument in New York City, and was one of the first monuments to be established there over Ground Zero, and overlooks the south fountain of the 9/11 memorial. It's called the America's Response Monument.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing bronze sculpture of a Special Forces soldier on horseback.
So nobody's face is...
Well, of course, it's mine.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Everybody kind of wants to know.
It could be chiefs, or it could be team sergeants, or, Junior Bravo.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's we're all handsome.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it could be a
given. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We added, the sculptor took our input and added a mixture of some of the kit. And he came into our team room.
Yeah.
Like in the spring of 2002, right after we came back from that mission.
Yeah. I like that they picked the floppy hat. That's a good one.
Yeah, we went for the floppy hat.
Boonie, or whatever people want to call it.
The boonie.
Boonie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about, ball caps. We didn't wear helmets and body armor.
Right.
Through that initial phase of the mission. once we got out of the mountains after 24 days in that rural warfare phase, as we liberated the city of Mazar-e Sharif with our allies and our CIA partners and a couple other special forces teams sent in to help with all that effort. Then we brought in equipment. We got ATVs, pickup trucks. Our militia army
started getting mechanized.
We went from the Wild West,
right?
Literally, where we had can you imagine 300 horsemen?
Oh no,
that's what we observed the first day. As 6 of us, the very first morning we were in country, 6 of us mounted horseback and followed General Dostum.
Can you imagine being the adversary, hearing this rumble of 300 horses raging towards you?
Well, they're pretty quiet. We wrapped all the hooves in gunny sacks, so it's kind of suppressive hoof beats, if you will.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I'm sure going through like the rocks and sand, and depending on your terrain, that had been a little bit difficult.
Yeah, they're making
to
a
maneuver.
Little noise. They're making a little noise.
How often did you fall off? To be honest,
for me, I mean, I grew up riding.
Oh, so you were fine.
I grew up riding. I was grew up in a ranch in Kansas, and high school rodeo was my sport. I rodeoed at college level for 2 years.
Yeah.
By then, I'd narrowed my events down to team roping and calf roping. But I got bucked off. Yeah, we all did.
Well, I would imagine because those horses probably weren't trained to be around gunfire, grenades, all kinds of different chaos.
Yeah.
So that had been a nice little learning curve.
That
for
was
everybody.
one of the things we missed in our very brief isolation and the lead up to actually being in isolation was that General Dostum back in 97, 98, there had been a news article about him and the Uzbek cavalry.
Okay.
So they had been riding horses in northern Afghanistan as their main mode of transportation for everything. Just amazing horse culture. I was personally able to connect with him and of his followers because of that. They didn't expect us to ride horses. They didn't expect us to be as aggressive as we were. I had one other sergeant from South Dakota that had grown up around horses. 10 of the guys, as we learned we were going to be riding horses during our isolation phase, which was only 48 hours.
Yeah.
Right. By doctrine, it's supposed to be 96. 48 hours.
Super crash course.
Super accelerated.
Yeah.
They introduced us to our CIA teammates in isolation there at the Arshikanabat at the time. And that's when they said, hey, we need to be ready to ride horses. So a little too late to reach out. We didn't deploy with saddles, so we know we're going to be riding local.
But you guys figured out how to do it in a timely fashion, clearly, and be effective. And then from that, there was a lot of good lessons learned, and you guys started a program for future.
We got into
guys,
that.
Right?
I would love to insert this. So as we learned, we're going to be riding horses.
Yeah,
Chief and Team Sergeant come to me and are like, "Hey, we got this, sir. We've had quarter horse training. Mom and Dad took us to the Kmart when we were a kid and quarters in.
Right.
So that was the extent of it. So
totally
there's
different quarter horse, but still funny.
How do you ride? How do you carry your
How do you maneuver on it? You know what I mean?
Like, I've had. What can I keep on my body? What can I keep on the horse? What can I cache and ride away from him? We did a lot of that. Figuring that out, we realized that we did not need nearly as much as we thought we did, and we employed a lot of caches. So that gave us the freedom to move back and forth between them.
I'd imagine riding with combat boots with stirrups is a bit cumbersome too.
They had a forward lead element. They had flanking elements, the main body.
Yeah.
And horses were really, from what we saw, most days were help you utilize that cover and concealment, get to a position, dismount, and then lay in your support by fire, or the assault element would move closer to cover and close that gap as quick as they could. Fire to get into that enemy formation.
What an amazing experience,
After what you're alluding to is after just recently, kind of here we are over 20 years since that incredible experience. I was in Kansas City, where I live at, and worked with a new another group of amazing veterans called War Horses for SOF. And I've been out there to observe their program. We've had a number of special operations veterans come through that program. It's usually about a class of 8. They're probably putting 6 or 8 classes of special operations veterans through there. But I've met 160th pilots, some JTACs, and even some guys that came through. So it's one of the most accelerated equine therapy programs I've ever been around.
What does one of those classes entail?
Some of them entail a medical assessment. That's part of it. They work closely with the Kansas City Sporting Major League Soccer team and their medical staff. So these veterans, at whatever point they are, many of them are still active duty.
Yeah,
for the most part, that are coming through there. Getting another look, a donor-supported medical assessment. It has some of the most. I'd never had some of the physicals, some of the testing. What I did with this program, trying to help these guys with ailments that they may or may not have, or just help verify that and move on with it. But they introduce them to horses on a Monday, and by Wednesday they've got them riding and swinging a rope at some team rope and dummies, or tracking a mechanical steer, heading and heeling. And by Thursday, Friday, they're introducing cattle to them, or cutting horses. So you're taking them down the fence and turning them back, and just an amazing testament to the guys. You can see the focus, you can see the determination, passion that I am not going to fail. They learn so quickly with this, but it is an amazing program, getting amazing results out of that. The Special Warfare Centers even sending out some of their psychs to help with it. So there is a group assessment, talk about some of the traumatic events that the guys have experienced through their career, and either share that collectively in a group or one-on-one in some sessions. So it's pretty intense and accelerated program. And then they picked, for the first time here just about a month ago, they had 7 of those veterans out to Las Vegas. Think of a Pro-Am, right? You see that a lot of times as the Pro-Am golf event, where they match that amateur with professional training. Well, that's what they've done at War Horses for SOF.
Oh, cool.
So we have several of the current reigning champions, or recent reigning world champions in cutting and cow horse. It's been great for the instructors. Get to meet those guys, just level of professionalism and instruction. They're at the very top of their game,
right? Yeah,
as well. And it's just been a great mix. And they invited us then to come out to Las Vegas. They set up a special competition for the 7 of us that were veterans, and now you're competing proud at a major national level. All the guys did incredible.
That's awesome.
I love seeing the shock on people's faces when that's their profession. That's what they do. And they're asking me, hey, how long have these guys been riding? Oh, they got a lot of training, probably 20 days of experience. And you should see the shock on most people's faces.
They're taking years.
They're taking years. And they're like, I don't even compete in that event. So the guys are just fearless.
That's impressive.
And getting after it. But
so that was called
War Horses for SOF.
Where can people find this? Is there a website that they can look up?
Yeah, they can look up warhorsesforveterans.org.
Okay. So there you guys go. If you guys are interested in supporting, sounds like a great organization to be a part of and to back, especially given you guys your experience of horses and everything.
Yeah, I've heard about them for several years, and then I finally kept running into them, and they invited me again to come out, and I finally got into their program myself, and just helping mentor and coach guys that have never been around a horse before. I mean, I grew up with that. That was always kind of my reset personally. Just back out to my family's ranch. Ride horses.
It's good they can tie their horse to your cart and kind of accelerate their growth too. So that'll be good.
It's given me another team, another group of friends to be around that team going through that with those veterans, rocking free.
I think that's something that people don't understand about the military community in general. Is it's such a tight-knit group, and that camaraderie never really goes away, And as you run into people throughout your life, and you have that common bond of like, oh yeah, I served, I did this, and then it just creates a whole different combination of conversation But let's get into the next one. I think everyone's finished up that first. Oh,
Somebody was slow.
Yeah, we had you talking. That's what happens.
What's the mash bill on that one?
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going a totally different direction.
Okay.
The next two, our signature small, our reserve barrel strength, are a wheated bourbon.
Okay.
All right. That first one again was a high rye bourbon. Sold. Got that spicy, peppery taste.
Right.
From that. Fade away, 87 proof. I'm taking you to the other end of a palate now. Let's get you a little sip of with this wheated bourbon. Right. Think wheat makes it sweet.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite of the three. Yeah.
Take care of our crew.
Oh, the crew. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the bouncer.
They're so thirsty they can't hear.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the so again, mash bill on this. This is a wheated bourbon, so it's more than 51%. Third of the recipe is the wheat in this.
Does this have a vanilla in it? Because I can smell it. Yeah, it's
butterscotch.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, butterscotch. That's the word I was looking for.
It's got a little bit of barley. So again, it's a wheated bourbon. About a third of the recipe.
Yeah.
This one is 5 to 6 years old.
Okay. Are you guys gonna?
Go ahead. What was your question?
Are you guys gonna do like a 20-year or something down the road?
Down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're holding some barrels back.
Nice.
We're holding some.
Okay. Cool.
But I like this one personally. As we were learning about this, right? What is your flavor profile? We started talking about rye. I had some traumatic events. To me, rye meant somebody's fighting or clothes are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're both. This is a high rye bourbon. That first one that we tasted. My personal preference in countless blind taste tests is a wheated bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
My personal.
You like to
I drink more often.
Yeah.
This one.
That's fine. We all like to drink.
And a personal choice. What I like about this one is that you can pivot. Personally, I like this one on a big rock. Just let it chill and open up. That's how I personally like it.
Okay.
But with this one, we've got a number of bartenders that make amazing cocktails.
Yeah.
Again, I like old fashions, and again, some blind taste tests there.
Mm-hmm.
My personal preference.
Yep.
Is our wheat fashion. I know some of the traditional.
Yeah.
Like rye. So I'll
Right.
leave that up to your fans to discover.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed that when you do put a lot of bourbons, we've been doing a lot of reviews on it. It's that as soon as you put that ice cube in there, it changes the profile completely. Which it's interesting how it'll mellow out that rye if there is a rye content, and then it'll allow all the other flavors, whether it's corn or vanilla or graham cracker or whatever, just kind of pop, which is interesting with bourbon. Which I don't know, obviously I would imagine our viewers are drinking a lot of bourbon with us, but if you're not, you're wrong, and you probably should be. Something else I did want to mention is these aren't Kentucky bourbons yet.
They're not.
So
But
you
are
guys
they soon to be?
They are soon.
Yeah.
Again,
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Be patient as we've grown, right? From our service, remember, the old adage.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking a lot of those lessons from our military service,
Right.
into our business.
Yeah.
Everything from culture that applied to trying to be strategic in our focus, growth, and everything we're doing. But the place here, where was I going with this? You asked me a question.
Moving to Kentucky.
Yeah, moving to Kentucky.
There we go.
And
Yeah.
finding
2 is
the
1.
back of the woods.
All right, so we have outgrown that facility in Columbus, Ohio.
Right.
And we started to bottle up in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Okay,
At
so it's going to be
Bardstown,
Bardstown.
Bourbon.
Nice.
So you'll see that on the back of these bottles. And again, the first one we were talking about, it was bottled by us in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It was distilled in Ohio. All that has to be legally disclosed
Right.
on the back of the label,
Mhm.
right? So you'll see that. But we're in that growth and change period. So
you guys are transitioning into it's going to be a Bardstown facility, or where? If you guys picked a location,
we're contract is still in there.
okay.
Again, it's our recipe. They're doing it, but really, how that relationship started is their bottling capacity. Phenomenal place. I encourage any of your fans to go check out Bourbon.
Oh, for sure.
Again, they have just become great friends, mentors, helping us. Excited about seeing our growth as well. But their bottling capacity starting to disrupt in Columbus, Ohio, where we were at initially. And so we're still doing that there, but we've expanded and moved some of our barrels over. They bottle up in a week.
That's amazing.
So it's about gaining efficiencies, right?
Yeah.
And that's longer term as we go. We got a big dream, big vision. Are on a path to build out the Horse Soldier Bourbon farms in southeastern Kentucky.
Okay, the Somerset one, right?
It'll be in Somerset, an hour and a half south of Lexington. We got
excited for that one.
Yeah, that's close to home for you.
It's got 200 acres on the north bluffs of the beautiful Lake Cumberland. This like 100-mile long lake. It's just absolutely beautiful. Houseboating capital of the world.
It was originally the golf course, right?
It was an old golf course.
So is that going to be open for public to come in and ride horses and partake in bourbon tasting events?
As we grow, but give us 3 years.
Yeah.
Nothing to see there now, folks. There'll be a big announcement, a big grand opening. You're all invited when that
big old red tape event.
But we are our goal for that is summer of 2026.
Okay. That's coming in close.
It is 3-year mark.
Yeah.
And
so when you guys started this bourbon, how much startup costs was involved?
Our CEO jokes, but seriously, about $5 million.
Oh, wow.
To our first bottling growth.
That's a steep entry.
It again is, where do you want to be? Do you want to be, we started in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah.
We did that because several of the guys, part of the company helped to co-found it. Had retired in that area. Mama's tired of moving.
Yeah.
And, let's just dig in right now.
Okay.
Several million tourists into that town that we're in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
Every week it changes over. So you have a whole
big tourist trap.
Yeah. You have a whole high level of brand new customers potentially every week.
Okay.
But that's where we started with it, growing it down there. It is a journey. We're still doing it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing journey to find our property and veterans learning both in marketing and sales and making it. That's just the fun, sexy part.
Yeah.
The hard part about it is selling it and growing the brand.
Well, it's kind of like in the military in your career, right? You had all the work up and that, then it gets on the TV, and that's the sexy part, what everyone sees in Hollywood. They don't understand the legwork that goes behind becoming, a Green Beret or,
all the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears, 24/7.
All the failures that go along before you finally find success.
We're again, that goes back to our culture, I think, from the special operations community. We are not going to fail.
Oh, right. And if you do, you're failing forward.
Yeah, failing forward, learn from it. And I think that's something we do very well is just force, just azimuth, recognize priorities and where you got to invest and just be efficient. Producing things that are in this, right? All three of these bourbons here, retail, suggested around 49, 69, 79.
Right.
So that puts us in a premium space and price point.
For the quality of bourbon, it's $150 plus price point. What it could very well sell for, but you guys marketed it in an affordable range for people, which is great.
These all came back out of studying it. We did a lot of reading, right?
Yeah.
We learned that in the military as well, and obtaining knowledge dominance about space as much as we can, and we're continuing to adapt and evolve in every way. It's things we know, right?
Yeah.
We know this stuff as veterans. We've all experienced it in whatever service. Just using those skills and applying it to this amazing endeavor with Horse Soldier Bourbon. But as the brand has grown, those mentors, looking back on your notes from all the had, and it came down to kind of three things. You need to have an authentic story.
Yeah.
With the unique aspects, the horse soldier, that point in history right after 9/11.
I don't think anybody else has a story that compares.
You got to have beautiful packaging. That is our brand manager, Elizabeth, our CEO's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She came from that she made this beautiful bottle. There are so many things
it's aesthetically
about
pleasing.
this bottle, right? Have bar jewelry that'll set it apart on the shelf. That's what she brought the metal label over. That was something.
Yeah.
I think we are probably one of the first bourbon brands to put a metal label on a bourbon bottle. Now we're seeing a few others starting to do it as well. So there's some subtle things about our military history here. There's a glass cartouche here. Several of the 6 of us served in special forces. Prior to that, 3 of us served in the Ranger.
That makes sense for the Tomahawk. Yeah.
Ranger school. So that's the crossed arrows, the special forces emblem, Tomahawks associated.
Yeah.
So we're very proud, subtle to our military background there with that. And then, of course, the horse rider image on that. The bottles themselves are also forged World Trade Center steel. As we were gifting, as we were learning about this, we wanted to have, again, that custom bar jewelry, that bottle that sets you apart on the shelf. We took a foundry tour over with Anchor Glass at Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and learned how they make glass. And I encourage you to go check it.
Yeah. Have you been to the Corning facility in New York at all? Because they do glass.
No, I've not been to that.
Yeah, that's a crazy facility too.
Crazy World Trade Center steel. Silent, I think, a little bit, and a couple weeks later, several hundred pounds of steel dropped on their dock.
Yeah.
That was because of that connection. We reached out to the Port Authority that we've met because of that 9/11 connection, and what we laugh about is back then, you remember Postal Service doing fit in a box ships for like $10.
Yeah.
So they cut down this piece of steel that we got.
It's like a 50-pound piece of steel.
Yeah, but then they had like 100 of them. Right. 100 different.
Like, here's 5,000 pounds of steel. We're just going to casually
Problem solved. You figure it out, right?
Team life transitioned well for you all in this business.
It continues to. But we got it there. They melted it down, and it's the mold that shapes every one of these bottles.
That's incredible.
Touched by 9/11 steel. Your fans can go to our Horse Soldier Bourbon YouTube, and we've got a video on there about the World Trade melted down. And a short video about that. But there's a dozen other videos about our amazing bourbon offerings, our backstory, our adventure.
Okay.
What else about this to your bourbon fan? We use a number 4 alligator char.
Where do you source those oak barrels?
Right now they're getting them out of Speyside. Our partners are getting those out of Speyside, or we get them.
Okay. And then with your mash bill, are you guys locally sourcing your corn and rye, or is that
corn's coming out? Those grains, all those grains are coming to be non-GMO. That's what a consumer wants now.
Right.
So that's a very niche market for farmers, and I come from a farm background as well. A lot of people
got a lot of feathers in your hat there, man.
Non-GMO grains.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what customers.
Yeah. No pesticides, no this, no that,
Right. All of that.
Yeah.
Yes, my family still farms.
Okay.
The corn is number 2 yellow dent. Great. So there's so many other things about the grains that to be a premium brand. So authenticity, and you got to have something that distinctly sets you apart, and then juice in the bottle. So everybody told us, like Mark, they'll buy you. They told our group of veterans they'll buy you once out of passion and support as a veteran brand. But then, all right, we're looking who's going to buy it. That second bottle, third through 100, that it becomes their daily drinker. They are such a fan,
for sure,
of our brand, and we've got and that's what Special Forces does. buy it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So we're causing a
Yeah.
revolution in Horse Soldier Bourbon. Just the fan base is growing week
Right.
after week. We're using this platform and others to reach these fans and
yeah.
feedback from our fan base.
Oh, it's a great. It's one of my top favorite bourbons to drink, for sure. It's a staple in the house, and plus, anytime we have group guys on, they love it too. So it's continuing the tradition, I guess.
Anytime we have group guys on the show, it's a go-to for
Yeah.
a few.
No, I appreciate
almost
that.
almost indefinitely.
I appreciate that. It's take a little pride of you go into a restaurant now, you see our bottle on the back bar, or a saloon in different communities. The 30 states we're in now are Florida. That was our home state. We're up the East Coast through Virginia, North Carolina, New York.
Yeah.
And we're also in Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan.
Yeah, I imagine it was pretty easy to get into the spots that were affected by 9/11. Prominent.
Yes and no.
Oh,
yes
really?
And no. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Yeah, we've spent an inordinate amount of time and energy, treasure, and it's been.
But you're there now.
Oh yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, so
Rather surprising, to be honest.
Yeah,
just because of the location.
Right. Yeah. You would think, September 11th happened right there, ground zero. They put the statue up. You'd think immediately following the statue.
The immediate liquor stores right through there, and several of the bars and restaurants. Yeah, we're in a growing number of high-end.
Okay.
Oh,
from
nice.
Around Wall Street.
Yeah.
Up through Midtown.
There you go.
But we're getting there. We got some great partners in our distributor. There, it's taking some time.
Okay.
But the other states we're in are Kansas, Texas, Arizona, California, Texas, Arizona.
There's stuff under the bar.
It sits still.
Didn't realize there was stuff down there.
It'll sweep up.
It'll buff.
But so some of the other states that we're in are Kansas, and then we're in Texas, Arizona, California, Nevada, Washington State, Montana, Colorado. Yeah, those were the 20 that we were to. Michigan, if I didn't mention that one. And then with Gallo coming on board last year, where we are their only bourbon now, they and partner build out the Horse Soldier Bourbon. They represent us nationally.
Yeah.
And they expanded us just this last June, 10 more states, and that was Idaho and Wyoming, to kind of fill out that Rocky Mountain, up Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa, the Dakotas, Wisconsin, and Jersey, and Massachusetts.
So once you got in with AFES, is that going to help you guys to even get overseas sales?
Funny you should mention that. Yes.
Okay.
AFES was tough to crack into.
Yeah.
As a small brand, we had several meetings. I had to fight village to village.
Yeah.
They didn't bring us in initially. I feel like we've earned it. We had to prove to them, fighting village to village, that like here in Kentucky, it was being delivered by Republic, our state distributor.
Okay.
So we had to be more strategic and focused in states where we were broadly offered. It was being distributed to the Army Air Force bases that way.
Mm-hmm.
Those out in Kansas, Fort Riley is an example. That's how they were getting it. Down in Texas, they were getting it from Florida. They were getting it from various state distributors. But we kind of earned our spurs, so to speak, there. And then with Gallo coming on board, AFES has just taken off as a channel for us. It has become our top chain nationally.
Nice.
And we're in most of the chains.
Yeah.
Y'all are about to go international, though, right?
We are. And yes, there is a boat somewhere in the North Atlantic right now with several pallets of Horse Soldier Bourbon at an undisclosed location that it's going to open up in England, Germany, Italy market. I'm also told it's being delivered to South Korea.
Right.
So yes, they are taking us internationally through the military channel, as well as the Navy Exchange and Coast Guard Exchange.
Nice.
Has it as well. East and West Coast locations and top 10 Coast Guard exchanges. But we're really excited that it's going international.
Right. That's a huge step.
Oh, we're so excited about that. But I suspect, down the road, once we get our facility, Gallo is going to take us into the public markets,
Right.
In some of these other countries. We already had, even as a young startup brand, we had folks running at us. They wanted to put us in South Africa. They put us in England, put us in South America and Asian markets.
Right.
We're like, whoa. We're only in a few states. US. We want to grow that solid foundation and base first.
Yeah. Because I imagine there's a lot of red tape in order to get it international.
Oh, yeah, well, even into a state.
Yeah. All the different state liquor laws.
We joke about this. Being in the spirits industry is unconventional warfare.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes a lot of sense.
Buy with or through partners and
You got
distributors.
to find a lot of partner forces wherever.
They're the tribal chieftains.
Yeah.
Right. And help continue to resource and educate them to then represent your brand and help get it into right retail stores, the right on-premise accounts. Of course, you got to build that fan base, right?
Yeah.
That's our guerrilla army that is out there asking for it.
So when it comes to different states, for example, do you have to go to municipalities to talk to them, or how does that process? For those of us that don't know,
it's through that state's alcohol beverage control office, and you got to register the brand and packaging and price point. Foremost, who's going to represent you as your distributor? Because in some states, once you get married, that's it.
Oh,
it's very hard to switch distributors in some states.
Okay.
Some states more than others.
Yeah.
But, it's a learning education process, and neck deep in that. 12 states pre-COVID. We had 6 different distributors.
Oh wow.
So now it's about efficiencies, right? Because I'm having to have the same conversation 6 times.
Right.
Because of what is their programming, what's the priority, the price point, when are they pulsing it around key holidays and events that we want to be associated with. So it became horribly inefficient.
Mm-hmm.
And representative agencies help us with they already know those laws.
Okay. Right.
Where I can leverage someone else's expertise. That's another.
Makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah.
No, that's good. So we have one last bourbon to try out here, which is the top echelon of your guys's.
Yeah, this is our reserve barrel strength.
This one's the weeded side, right?
Yeah, it's the same as the signature small batch that we just tasted, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is these two are the same recipe.
Don't forget our mustache man. Yeah, we got the bouncer and now the mustache man. We got the backup bouncer.
Yeah. But again, so these two are the same recipe.
Okay.
Right? The difference, the signature small batch, a few barrels that are picked, right point, together, and they 5 proof. This one we're drinking now on the silver label. This is our reserve barrel strength. Think of the big brother, big sister, right? This is what we were going for as distillers and what we liked in this. This bottle here we're tasting today is 117.
Yeah, it's strong on the nose for
it's
sure.
Yeah.
Filtered for particulates,
Yeah.
right out of the cask, right? Barrel strength.
Yep.
We're very proud of this one as well.
Yeah, that one's definitely stronger.
Yeah, it's more of that. Really hits you with that caramel.
I like them all, but
Pick out some of the.
I've noticed
corn in this one.
My flavor profile is small.
Yeah, I get more caramel for sure on this one, especially on the aftertaste, like the finish. It's good.
Yeah, what I tell people is don't let the number deter you. You'll see this.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be like, 100 and something proof. Oh my god.
I've seen it up in Bardstown a couple weeks ago. Our own internal education and development, and working with that partner there at Bardstown Bourbon Company. They were bottling up our next quarter.
Ooh.
So you'll see this one vary just depending on what they are when we harvest them. That is going to be our highest proof.
Yeah. This one kind of reminds me of like a fall drink, because it kind of has like a caramel apple taste to it. At least that's what I taste. I might be wrong.
Some of the apple I get with it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what evokes in my mind.
Okay.
personally, but this to me, my personal preference is on a big rock and just let it chill. For me, this is the one. Celebrate with friends. Celebrate the little victories in your life, right?
Yeah.
The challenge.
Mm-hmm. The coloration of the labels. How did you guys determine what colors you're going to end up using? Or is that just kind of like
that just kind of
happen,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're figuring this out, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, some people think that the highest proof should be a different color label.
Yeah, like gold
right?
or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, say quick. When we first started, these two products were the ones that came out. Well, this one had a silver metal label on it. That's barrel strength. That's how we started. This one actually had a khaki paper label.
Oh, okay.
And everybody was like, hey, we love the
metal
label.
Yeah.
So we incorporated that color.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, this isn't a first, second, or third place. Don't think of that.
Yeah, that's kind of what
silver
Yeah.
or bronze.
Yeah, that's immediately what my brain kind of was thinking.
It is, and that's hey, we're at where we are now. Right?
Yeah.
But
Now you just got to own it.
we just own it.
Yeah.
and that's where we're going. And then our distributors initially were like, man, we third offering in the rock. Get that going. So
Right.
So you said that you're going to hold some barrels for later, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys thought of also doing like a double oaked or anything and dabbling in those?
yeah, we've discussed some of those things.
Okay.
You know, single barrels.
Yeah.
Barrel picks. We get
Yeah.
asked for that in every market.
Mhm.
Of course, yeah.
But we tried it. We weren't.
Okay.
And, that'll be coming again at some point. Most likely after we get our own facility. That facility in Somerset, Kentucky.
Yeah.
The ability to harvest single barrels. Yeah, we'll do two. You asked me earlier.
Yeah.
You know, the focus is on the production area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those other things like come down the road. Maybe it's zone.
You could do archery off horses. That'd be fun. You know, give them a taste of what it would be like.
Any of
Some unconventional things.
the focus is on the production and
Yeah.
Right.
be a restaurant, retail.
Oh, nice.
That's the core.
What about a barbecue sauce?
You can check out our website, haven't
Just,
you?
you know.
HorseSoldierBourbon.com.
I'm just saying, you know.
So outside of our core three bottles that were offered,
Where the sauce.
Ball caps are a big thing, man.
they are.
People love them. We've got our own merch too that we're slowly trying to push. For your participation today, you'll get a ball cap. So.
We invite folks to come see us down in St. Petersburg last month. It quickly up 10 establishments as
Oh wow.
Yeah.
steps open to the public there, and then the spot in the whole has any.
Mm-hmm.
That one's in.
That's very cool.
That is cool. I have a little team room, little.
Yeah, one of our, we got everything from Florida craft brand. Got
Right.
that one gets a lot of traffic, but come down to see us, the Still House.
Okay.
Thursday,
Exclusive.
Friday, Saturday
How
nights.
far
and,
out are those reservations?
It just depends, really, on how big your party.
We'll just name drop and be like, Mark sent us.
Yeah, sure. I have to name drop to get the reservation.
Oh, yeah. You can't even get in your own.
I love it.
It's busy. That's good.
Having my own experience with friends and the coworkers.
Yeah.
But then running into all over the country.
Right.
That are local, and food is hostesses.
Yeah. You had some other things you wanted to maybe plug too while you're here.
So we talked about, or we brought up the 12 Strong movie.
Yeah.
There's also a documentary, and I can't for the life of me think of what the name of it was, but it was on Hulu and some other.
Yeah, it's called Legion of Brothers.
Legion of Brothers.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess you all wrote a book here recently.
Yeah, with the movie and the documentary film and other books that came out, we finally told our own story.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's called Swords of Lightning, and Chief Pennington and I, with our teammates, co-authored this. Best-selling author Jim authored American Sniper, of course, that was about.
Yep.
So is this pretty readily available at most bookstores?
Anywhere books are sold, you can buy that. It's also out on audio, of course, Amazon.
Digital for Kindle and all that, yeah.
Listen to it. Yeah, it's on those.
Do you narrate it? Who narrates the audio one?
Not.
Okay.
Professional.
Okay.
That I've listened to segments of it. It's didn't make the
close.
requirement.
I've read some books that were on that list that I would have never guessed would have been on that list.
It was frustrating, but it is what it is. I'm very proud of the book. It's more of the backstory.
Yeah.
Whether you're a history aficionado or you're a veteran, from our special operations, trying to understand what they challenge, successes, the failures, the near close calls. I mean, we're lucky to survive that mission.
Absolutely.
Several of the guys split into 3-man cells, and some of them were nearly overrun multiple times, or they're having to call close air support.
Yeah. So that depiction in the 12 Strongs, you guys obviously gave them a lot of input on that.
Actually, no.
Oh, really?
Nope. We were not Coltonson, shockingly.
Interesting.
I think they did a great job.
I
think they get the core of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was some of the actors that we got in touch with that invited us out to the set. So she and I made a couple-day visit to the set, and again, it caused production company. They were so excited that we were there.
Yeah.
And the expectation then is that we would be there we showed up on day 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all the other actors that represented our team had real 160 pilots and
wow. Okay.
Part of that, but no Green Berets were involved in the making film.
That's a shock.
Proud of that film as well. They get the core of it.
Yeah.
It means a lot to our entire special forces. Shed light on some of the partners.
Yeah, for sure.
Challenging. So it's an honor that they made that movie, that there's been documentary, various books written about us with varying levels of. But that's really what drove us to, we got to tell our own story.
Yeah.
Get that out there. So maybe someday there'll be a Netflix series that goes deeper beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
We were 24, everybody's enthralled with 24 days on horseback.
Yeah.
We were another 45 days in the Mad Max phase. Pickup trucks, and now our militia force that's grown from 300 horsemen to 3,000. Just like Robin Sage, the training we've been through, the area commanders meeting, the real magic that was not portrayed in previous books and movies was we united 3 different ethnic factions. We got their leadership to sit in the same room, and they all brought 100 of their closest heavily armed friends. And
you're just waiting for
history of rivalries and alliances, right?
Yeah,
it's a little sporty.
Yeah, you're like, oh, they're ending up in a Mexican standoff here.
At that time, there were 9 of us from the team. A couple of the CIA guys were with us.
Yeah.
Of this, to
the money
guys to sit together and to cooperate and unite, and they agreed to orchestrate across 6 provinces after that meeting. They pledged fighters, so our horsemen, cavalry, grew to 3,000. I've been to a few county fairs and a state fair, but I've never seen 3,000 horses together.
It's a lot of horses.
It's a lot of horses.
They demand a lot of water. They demand a lot of feed, right, to move the army. And again, we split our team, the Special Forces team, split into 3 cells. So 3 Americans matched with you, an Afghan militia commander. got 300 to 500, 750 fighters in some instances, and your 3-man cell, you're over here, and one of my comm sergeants and I are riding back and forth with the resistance.
Yeah.
It was a 7 to 24-hour horse ride between them. I mean, it was just incredible effort. It stressed you every way, like we've had in training, mentally, physically, psychologically. It tests your combined arms, skills, thinking strategically, trusting and empowering guys on the team. But those 3 Green Berets and the 2 JTACs that came in to augment them, you represent the American government.
Right.
Every one of those allies. They are the de facto commander. They are the S2. They're gathering intelligence reports and sending that up. They're coordinating airstrikes. They're coordinating the fire and maneuver between air ground, right? And tactics. And resupply. And we called in a number of our own resupply drops of lethal or non-lethal aid. All that humanitarian aid, medical aid was coming. All this. So it's an amazing story. Swords of Lightning.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that hold of that and read that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Sounds like
read that one too.
I've got a long trip coming up, so I'll have plenty of time on my hands.
But no, I enjoyed sharing the story about that. There's I get asked to speak, and I enjoy traveling nationally and sharing that story and the story of leadership and teamwork and problem solving.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What our special forces and special operations are with these small teams that are empowered and resourced and out there on the cutting edge. And
why do you think the Green Berets are more successful at establishing these relationships than other special force units out there?
I think it has to do foremost, I think, with probably our selection assessment side and just kind of how they're pulling us for. The guys that make it through training and that tough pipeline, but then really the emphasis on culture and language, just trying to, it's gone back and forth, right? But trying to have us regionally focused.
Yeah.
In an area. It may shock you to learn our team at the time of that post 9/11 mission, average age was 30. 8 years time in service. 5 of the 12 guys were already Special Forces combat veterans. First Gulf War, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Panama, Somalia. Still around at that time. And so just an incredible amount of experience. Our mission focus was warfare.
Right.
We do the small unit raid, push, but then it takes a special person to do that with a partner, right? Coach. All these guys on these teams, basically think of NFL coaches. And that was proven in our mission is these guys are now taking that commander, that own force, and they're shaping it, they're molding it, effective with it, battlefield. So, yeah, the maturity, I think, just comes from force.
Yeah, I think they were pretty wise in choosing your guys to go in just because of that maturity and experience that you guys already had in the background. I don't know if it would have been as successful if you send a brand new group of ODA guys in, but it might have. Never know.
Yeah, you never know.
But
a lot of the, people ask me what it was like, and real short responses. Remember your experience at Robin Sage? That on steroids.
Yeah.
But you recognize the phases that you're at, right? We got to have confidence, building missions initially that it's going to be guaranteed success, or you assume it's going to be success. There was that our allies were killed.
Right.
They were deeply protective of us. Try to understand each other's culture and our strengths and weaknesses, and how we can work.
Yeah.
That going from 3,000 horsemen, and then literally within 48 hours of getting into the city, now we've got ATVs and we've bought local pickup trucks, and sergeants are taking vehicles to the a service station, and they're going through them bumper to bumper, right? And we're getting new shocks and better tires and just filters and everything maintenance wise that we all know, right? Bumper to bumper on those vehicles, and tire wrenches and everything to set them up for combat operations.
Yeah.
And then our militia army goes from horseback to literally overnight. Now they've got captured tanks, Soviet T-55, T-72s. We've got towed artillery and Soviet armored personnel carriers. And now you got to have the right, diesel fuel that goes into those. You got to have the right ammunition that fits those weapon systems.
A lot of logistics.
So it's an amazing experience.
That's incredible that you were able to do that and then create such a wonderful bourbon, and use that experience and your guys' Horse Soldier experience and create that brand.
Well, to me, it's we're very proud of this.
Yeah,
extremely proud of this and what we're doing. But that was the military history.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this preserves that. You know what I mean?
It preserves it. Build something as a legacy for our family.
Yeah.
That served through that incredible period. All the guys on that team lost 2 years later. 595 team, 585 team. That initial half a dozen teams that went into Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
those teams spearheaded operations into Iraq again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Sergeant Moorhead, Sergeant 8, 5 were killed. There were guys on both teams. 5 team, they recovered. We managed to survive our careers, serve in other agencies. But our younger sergeants, guys led some of the most historic operations missions back in or Afghanistan or other Africa, other parts of the world. But now, just a few years ago, last of us, as serve our country in varying capacities, instructors, and now we're serving little award-winning Horse Soldier Bourbon.
That's right. What do you see the future of Horse Soldier in the coming months or years? What do you guys?
Just to grow that base and grow market share. Really, to be sustainable long term, we got to get that facility.
Yeah,
we're off to the races.
So looking forward to that.
We're hitting another rock.
Super pun intended there. Off to the races.
We with the local community decided about us coming.
Oh, that's going to generate a lot of revenue.
There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
Well, jobs in that area,
right.
And we respect that and understand that. But we're going to make smart, calculated decisions. And we are very excited.
Oh, it's
growing there in Somerset, Kentucky. We want to do more to special operations charities. One of those other efforts, I've talked about some of them already, but one of those, Badger 6, 2 years ago, all from Afghanistan. A little angry.
Mm-hmm.
Phone was blowing up. Several of the 595 interpreters got some of the commanders fought for us out of the country. For them are in America now. We're still focused on for our closest allies after 9/11 that were commanders that later served in their police or security or intelligence forces. Some in their parliament or not eligible special immigrant visa because they weren't interpreters, right? They don't speak English. They are just as much from the Taliban and everything else there. So we're focused on supporting those families that were our closest allies. And Badger 6, we formed that as a 501c3, badger6.org. But that's my former CIA teammate.
That's a great cause too. You had another book. Did you?
No, yeah. I just want to. I was telling you guys for another episode, you got to get this guy on.
Okay.
Alan Mack, CW5, retired from the 160th.
Sure.
If you want to learn about that period from the perspective of a special operations aviator.
Yeah.
And an MH-47 pilot. Al and his crew, they were the They inserted our team,
Okay.
flew countless other special.
Yeah, we'd love to have him
operations
on if
teams.
he's available, you know.
But Razor 03 is
Cool.
Straight, I'm going to read more books this year than I've read in the last 2 years.
They're not picture books, though, so you got to be careful.
I know. That's
there's-
why I said I actually have to read.
or get it on audio.
Or pop-up books, you know. I know we like pop-ups. That's more exciting.
So I have a couple questions for you guys. What of the three? What did you like?
Oh,
that we
I'm
tasted?
definitely
The small batch
batch
for sure.
Small batch.
Yeah.
That has become a thing that I've learned throughout my bourbon tasting.
Your journey.
My journey is like I tend to gravitate more towards the small batches.
Yep.
There's a few that I like the single barrels, kind of like some of the other ones we've had, but the barrel proofs, I guess, tend to just throw me a little.
They're a little
So I
overwhelming for you.
I tend to settle more for the
I think
small
the
batches.
barrel strength,
To
if I
talk about all three of these briefly,
Yeah.
just from an award standpoint,
Yeah.
right? 9 out of 10 dentists say top bourbons.
Yeah.
And they won packaging. They called it the Coke killer.
Yeah.
Nobody I personally knew got the Coke. All yours say.
Yeah, I can't say it, but you know, there
But
might be some truth to it.
we're very
We'll have to do like a study, a case study.
You know, it's been a pleasure being on,
No, we appreciate you
Appreciate you coming out.
taking time and
Yeah, no. And for those of you that want to know more about Mark and his history, horsesoldierbourbon.com. That's where they can find a lot of information. Where are they going to find these autographed bottles, by the way? Is that an exclusive thing to just here at Campbell?
No, in the different markets that we go into,
Okay.
there are, as we've grown now, Chief and I, Bob Pennington, helped co-found it with 4 other special operations veterans,
Okay.
one of the guys' wives as we started. But as we've grown, we've had 3 more of the 595 team members on board with us, and
Awesome.
5 of us travel nationally, doing promotions in different cities. So you'll find it in Chicago. I'm up there. You'll find it in Louisville. The guys this week are in Montana and up there. But you want to find out where to buy it, go to the horsesoldierbourbon.com page. Got a where to buy tab. And
Okay. Yep.
And it lists, we try to keep that updated with the stores where they can buy it. But as far as here locally, Fort Campbell Class 6, Ocean, and a few of the stores right off post here.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us today, and sharing your delicious bourbon with us and some of your backstory. It's been a wonderful privilege to have you on, and we wish you all the success in your upcoming endeavors. So
I think we need a final toast.
yeah,
Yes,
we do need
yes,
to.
we do.
Yeah. The peanut gallery needs some too. Yeah. Everybody's got to get well loose here.
Yeah. Hey,
For all of you,
to the Legion.
the Legion.
Cheers.